We're in conversation with sporting legend from the Eastern Cape, Mohammed Agherdien, and also in celebration of his 90th birthday. We thought we'd reminisce about his sporting career and especially his contribution to rugby. And I'm also proud and privileged that he's been my uncle, paternal uncle. Mohammed, just tell us where it all started, if you don't mind.
Playing rugby, real rugby. It started all in Kimberley, 1945. That was my first teaching post. And
That is a long time ago.
yeah, 1945. That's when I learned to ride a bicycle, because that's what everybody used.
So obviously you played a lot of club rugby, but your representative rugby career, what sort of representative rugby did you play and how long ago was this?
Well, at first it was the Rhodes Cup tournament every 4 years. That started in 1947 in Kimberley.
Okay. And you represented which province when you played?
Eastern Province. I represented Eastern Province, yes.
Those were obviously in the pre-democracy years, the apartheid years.
Oh yes, it was then during the time of the South African Coloured Rugby Football Union.
Okay. And so were all provinces represented at that time?
No, obviously they couldn't make it, but most of them were there. Western Province, Eastern Province, Griquas. Those were the three main provinces. And of course, apart from them, we had Transvaal there and Northern Transvaal.
And the positions you played?
I played eighth man in the Eastern Province team.
But you must have been a bit small for an eighth man, or is it just...
Well, it was not about size in those days, you know. It wasn't about size. It was, you know, the guy is big. He's got to go in the front row or in the second row if he's big.
That's fascinating.
Or he goes on the wing, and all you do, you know, get the ball to him.
And you were obviously good enough then playing for Eastern Province to be selected for national honours. So you had a career in the South African setup as well?
Yes, that was 1950 at the Rhodes tournament in Port Elizabeth. I was one of the lucky ones. I was selected, but of course I didn't play because Eastern Province were involved in the final, which was played on the same day.
Okay, I can understand. So that was
obviously the Griquas players who were selected and the Eastern Province players who were selected, they didn't play in that particular team.
Did you get an opportunity to play after that?
2 years later, yes, I was selected for the game in Kimberley, 1952, and again, same year, a game was played in P at the showgrounds.
And you then had an affinity for coaching. So what was the trigger? What was the thinking behind that? Did you just, why did you decide to go into coaching?
Well, I was away from rugby for a while. I was involved in soccer because my two boys were then you know, they were involved in soccer, so that's how I became involved in soccer. But when I got back to rugby, I, on the administrative side and coaching side.
Just to digress a little while, my recollection of your association with sports, I'm aware you were heavily involved with swimming coaching, life-saving coaching, baseball. Remember, you had a club in PE, the Valvoline Hustlers. Softball, cricket also. You played cricket?
I played a bit of cricket. Yes.
Cricket. Is there anything I'm missing? I wasn't aware of the soccer, but are there any other sports codes that we are missing? I know you were involved with a gym at one stage also, so I'd imagine bodybuilding and being healthy.
Yeah, well, cycling was also one of my favorite recreational activities.
Excellent. So yeah, a very, very well rounded, balanced sportsman. But we digress, and let's come back to the coaching. So your coaching career started, I'd imagine, at club level first?
Yeah, with PE lads.
PE lads, and then thereafter, I suppose you then started coaching at provincial level?
Yes, I coached at provincial level as well.
With Eastern Province. Was it EP?
Eastern Province.
So where are we sitting now on the timeline? Are we in the 70s now?
In the 70s, the mid-70s.
Mid-70s, Eastern Province.
70, yeah, the mid-70s.
I can recall that you also had an association with the club in the UK. We also went to go and educate yourself and learn a bit more about the sport. Do you recall this? I don't know all the details, but you would care to share?
1975, I went over to England to attend they had a course on for senior coaches, the RFU, as they are known, the England Rugby Football Union. And I went, I attended that course, and a few weeks later I attended a course at Loughborough College's course was known as the Advanced Rugby Coaching under Jim Greenwood.
And obviously everything you learned there you brought back and plowed into rugby here in South Africa.
Yes.
And I recall that you were a coach in demand when I was a youngster, because you would coach with the then Kwaru, then I see you would then be coaching Border, and everyone was in demand of your services as a coach. So you care to share about those years, what it was like coaching the old SARU teams?
Yes, well, coaching Border was an enriching experience for me. I used to go up to, they used to fly me down to East London on a Tuesday, and I would return home again on Saturday evening. Whenever Border had a game to play.
Right. And those are obviously in the amateur years where the players weren't paid to play.
Oh no. Yes.
And so no one was deriving an income from the sport. They were playing for the love of it.
Yes. Well, that's factors.
Mm.
It was only when Eastern Province, it was after unification, Eastern Province wanted a director of coaching and development. And I applied and I was appointed. I spent 2 years doing that.
And your career as a coach of the national setup as well. South African team was playing and you were the coach. I remember your scrum half in that team was a very young Alistair Coetzee, fondly known to us as Tutti from Wallabies in PE.
Yes.
Do you remember or share with us your relationship with Alistair and what you thought of him? I might add that he also, being the coach of the Western Province Currie Cup setup and the Stormer setup, had indicated that you were one of his role models and inspiration to him to go this route. So share with us first a bit about your career as a national coach, and then some of your insights into your relationship with Alistair.
As a national coach was just a small part. Was in the SA side against SARU's 15 against Platteland 15 at Mauriceburg.
Mauriceburg,
Yeah.
that's where it was.
That was in 1988. And sometime later, SARU 15, I coached the SARU 15 in East London, where they played against the Eastern Cape 15 at the Bishop Stadium.
Right. And Alistair was the scrum half? You recall?
At Mauriceburg, yes, he was the scrum half.
And what was he like as a player?
Oh, he was a good player. He was a good leader too. He was a good captain, and we worked quite well together.
I'm sure you must have been very proud of his achievements.
Yeah, he was always very willing to help. You know, I had a few clinics here in Cape Town, and I had him there. And the youngsters were they were quite intrigued with Alistair, because he could do a reverse, a backward pass from the base of the scrum.
So do you still follow rugby today? What's your thoughts on the current setup? Are you disenchanted or are you excited? What are your thoughts?
Well, most of the rugby I watch at home, where I see more of the game than the spectator at the stadium itself, because, cake veer and that kind of thing, they show you why a penalty was awarded and stuff like that. Of course, I enjoy it.
You were awarded Springbok Blazers from in the democratic years, post apartheid.
South African Coloured Rugby Football Board. Blazer.
Okay. It's not just one, eh? There was another blazer too.
So,
did you get another blazer, or was it just?
Yeah, well, they decided that all players who represented the Coloured Rugby Football Board and later SARU would be awarded Springbok Blazers.
Okay, so you received your Springbok Blazers and your Springbok tie.
Yes, blazer and a tie.
And did you get a cap? Were you capped?
No, that I didn't get.
You didn't get? No, you should get a cap.
But I saw quite a few officials afterwards with caps, walking around with caps,
Well, maybe O'Regan Hoskins will get sight of this and make sure that gets sorted out. I will see that we correct that wrong.
Yeah, maybe it's not too late. I can still get a cap.
Yeah, maybe it's not too late. Before you turn 100. Before you turn 100. And where are your blazers now? Hanging in a cupboard at home, gathering dust.
But they're not gathering dust. They form quite an interesting part of the Rugby Museum at Twickenham in England.
Interesting. How did it get there?
Well, there's the sad part of rugby in South Africa. It's all there. Sad part, and of course, the coming together later. And the only thing is that they asked me the same question that you put to me about a cap. Yes, that's right. I didn't get a cap, so the cap is missing. But the two blazers are there, and the story why there are two blazers, different blazers and ties, stories all there.
So the story of the coming together, the amalgamation of rugby post-apartheid is represented in the Twickenham Museum, Rugby Museum. And my understanding is it tells a story for the world to see. And,
Yes, for the world to see, yes.
And it's your blazers that is doing that work.
Because, it's unique. It's the only country in the world, rugby playing country in the world where they had 1, 2, 3, something like 3 or 4 different
National setup.
Yeah, different national bodies.
At the same time.
Yeah.
And so if you were to give advice to any young aspiring administrators or sportsmen, what will that advice be? We all love to live to 90 and be as fit as you are and still to have your mental capacity. I'm sure there's a secret, and so maybe you can put it in the advice that you will give young administrators like myself.
Well, like I said earlier, the game is very different to what it was in my playing days, Because today, if a player wants to get to the top, he's got to sacrifice. Because it's all about size, size and muscle. One team will try and out-muscle the other team.
Right. I can remember I played baseball under you, and you coach, you taught me to swim, and I was part of the life-saving setup as a youngster. And you always used to speak about the muscle between the ears as well. Very important muscle that needs to be developed at all times.
Absolutely, yes. Because that muscle controls just about the whole body.
Right. That was awesome. So, in conversation with Mohammed Agherdien, 90 years old, and a legend, a living legend amongst us. And it's always fantastic to get the insights from Mr. Agherdien, Uncle Gamat, fondly known to me as Boeta Gamat, and to many people around the country. A role model for many. And we can only pray that he's blessed with years of health and comfort in the twilight of his life. And I thank you for your time in sharing some of your insights with me.
It's a pleasure. Pleasure.
And we'll share it with the world. We'll share it with the world.